We continue now at the top of Daf Memtes Aleph and Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 49a. On the previous Amud, the Gemara said that witnesses, let's say they sign, for example, a document of sale on a piece of land, but before that they sign a modah, so then that can undo the document of sale. Essentially, the witness is signing a document that says that the only reason this person is selling the land is because he's forced to sell the land. He really doesn't want to sell the land. And so the Gemara asks, is it really true that the very same witness can undo the testimony in that shtar of sale? But we have a statement from Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says that if witnesses, if they later say, Amona hayu devarenu, that our words, what we signed, the shtar that we signed, it was just an amona, it wasn't an actual loan, ein ne'amonim. So in that case, they're not believed. They can't undo what they signed before. And similarly, modah hayu devarenu, let's say they say our words were a modah, ein ne'amonim, they're not believed. So you see, they can't undo the shtar. If you have a shtar of sale, you have a document of sale, then you have another document, even let's say it preceded it, and it was a shtar modah saying that this document of sale, it shouldn't really take effect. It's not a serious document, but it doesn't matter. They're not able to undo it. And the Gemara answers the question and says, Hani Mili, that's only true. They're only not able to say Modah Hayu Devarenu Al Peh. That's only if they're just saying it. Delo Ase Al Peh Umar L'Shtar, because what they say, meaning to say what they say verbally, cannot undo the shtar. Aval B'Shtar, but let's say they sign a shtar Modah, so then already that works. Asi Shtara Umar L'Shtar. One document can come along and make another document invalid. And the Gemara continues, Gufa, returning to what we just said above. Amar Rav Nachman says, Amona hayu devarenu ein ne'amonim. If they say that what we signed was just a shtar amona. Again, a shtar amona is a shtar where there really was not a loan. They're essentially claiming that the lender has a document, but there was never any money actually loaned to the borrower. The borrower just trusted the lender that he wouldn't collect until there was an actual loan. So essentially, they're trying to testify this is not a valid document, but they're not believed to say that. And again, like the case we had just above, Modah hayu devarenu ein ne'amonim, and if they say that our words were just a modah, again, it's not meant to be a valid shtar. They're not believed to say that. They can't undo the shtar. However, we have a dissenting opinion. Umar bar Ravashi says, Amona hayu devarenu ein ne'amonim. If they say that our words were an amona, it's true. They're not believed. However, modah hayu devarenu, but if they say it was a modah ne'amonim, then they are believed. My time, and what's the reason? Why do we make a distinction between amona and modah? Shezeh nitan likasiv, because one of them is allowed to be written. You're allowed to write a shtar modah. That's something that actually makes sense to write that in a situation where somebody is coerced. V'zelo nitan likasiv, but a shtar amona really shouldn't be written in the first place. It's not really proper that a person should write a document of loan when there really was not a loan, and that's why when they say amona hayu dvarenu, they are not believed. And the Gemara continues at the two dots, a husband is not able to make a chazaka in the property of his wife. This is talking about a situation where the wife brought into the marriage what's called nichse milug. The husband has the rights to the fruits of that property, but the wife is the actual owner. So there, if he's going to be working the land and taking the fruits, it doesn't indicate that he's the owner, because that's the entire arrangement of nichse milug. And so the Gemara asks, Pshita, well, isn't that obvious? Of course he can't make a chazaka. Kevan de isle lepira, since he has a right to the produce, he's just taking the produce, that's all he's taking. That does not indicate any ownership. Of course he's not able to make a chazaka in her property. And the Gemara says, lo no tzricha, it's necessary, meaning the case of the Mishnah is a chiddush in the following situation. The chasav law, where the husband writes to her, he writes to his wife, dinu devarim einli bin chasayach, he's saying, I don't have any rights to your property. He's essentially relinquishing his rights to the peiros of the nechse milug. So now if he's actually working the field and taking the fruits, that actually would be an indication that she sold the property to him. And the Gemara continues, V'chi kasav la ma'hava, but even if he writes her that kind of language, is that really even effective? You write dinu devarim, is that a way to give away your rights? That's not really a kinyan. V'atanya, we learned in a brisa, ha'omer l'chavero, if somebody says to his friend, this is talking about two partners, one partner says to the other, dinu devarim ainli al sadazu, I have no legal right to this field, v'ainli esek, I have nothing to do with it, v'yada misulakos mimena, my hand is removed from it, lo amar klum, he hasn't said anything. That's not a language of kinyan. You can't remove yourself from a partnership with that kind of language, and the same should be true with the husband with regards to the nichse milug. And the Gemara answers, Amri la devei Rabbi Yanai, they said in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yanai, Masnis, and our Mishnah is talking, but kosev lo va'oda arusa, he writes this kind of language to her while they're still in the stage of erison. She's still betrothed to him, meaning they're not really married yet at this point. He doesn't really have the rights. If you say it before you have the rights, before he has the rights to the nichse milug, he says dinu devar mainly bin chasayach, that actually would be effective. Uchid Rav Kahana, it's like Rav Kahana says, Diyamar Rav Kahana, because Rav Kahana says, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Memtes Amud Beis.